PhD at Harvard University in 1976. He worked at Harvard University as a historian until 1988, and currently he is the director of the Petro Jacek Center for Ukrainian Historical Research at the Canadian Institute for Ukrainian Studies at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada. For this semester, he is a visiting scholar at Harriman Institute of Columbia. He published extensively on the Ukrainian and partly, of course, also Polish topics. He's a co-editor of the first volume of History of Ukrainian Rus, and editor of the 8th volume of this magnificent edition on the Cossack age. He also published on the Ukrainian famine, on the Union of Brest, on Mikhailo Hrushevsky and Bogdan Khmelnytsky, but maybe, or probably most interesting for us, he is also the author of the biography of Adam Kisil, entitled Between Poland and Ukraine, that was published in 1985. So, for Professor Kamiński, just a technical remark, we will have these papers, presentations for about 20 minutes each, and then 15, maybe 20 minutes for discussion. Okay?
Mr. Chairman, ladies, gentlemen, colleagues and friends, it's a great pleasure, like always, to be at Columbia. I feel very good here, and it is wonderful to see so many people interested indeed in that subject which we are coming to discuss. It seems to me that once one is asked to talk for 20 minutes about 3 centuries of rather rich relations, one has to make a very strong choices. Therefore, there are only 3 topics I'd like to mention today. One is what we could look looking backwards to our history, which may be very useful today. Well, second, I have to mention, as a kind of memento mori, a fact that whichever way one looks at the Polish-Ukrainian relations in time of Commonwealth, one has the feeling that Poles make very many, to put it mildly, mistakes. And that after 19th and 20th century, not very many times they learn from that mistakes, and let's hope that now is different. And the last point, if I have time in that 20 minutes, I would like to mention very few hesitant remarks on church, as that relation of indeed which were between different religions, different hierarchies, were important in the relation of Poland and Ukraine, and that probably is the only field which today still they are very, or maybe somewhat, maybe not very, but somewhat similar. I just think simply about the practical, physical existence now on Ukraine, indeed, of the Latin Church, in which Poles play a very important role. So to start, the point which probably for me is the most interesting from all of those 3 I mentioned is the point connected with presence of Europe in relation of Poland and Ukraine, or rather in history of both countries through centuries. That is, I don't think it is particularly novum to anybody to realize how strongly